welcome to another Lemon Amiga play guide and review. This time we'll be checking out a selection of Roman themed games based on ancient civilizations, and this one is Ancient Games. This was released by Energize in 1991. It was coded by Simon Bradbury, who went on to Caesar in 1992 and Lords of the Realm in 1994. So maybe we can expect some great things from this game. And as you can see at the beginning, we have to enter our name and also where we are from. In this case, enter thy desired name. Well, I am Dan of Za. And so Dan of Za gets to play this game. The slave Dan has 10 gold bits and he wants to become a peasant. And we can enter the games. It costs 5 gold at this point. And according to that status, it's same. So if we move our joystick around in port 1, because this only works in port 1 for some reason, we can see what we can afford to buy with our 10 gold bits. We can afford to buy a woman. A local beauty costs us 10 gold coins. We can also waste our money on luxuries. That costs 10 gold coins. And we can also impress other people with a new horse that costs 10 gold. A new slave costs 10 gold as well. And we can also consult the oracle, which costs nothing. And as we shall see a little bit later on, that is very valuable in this fake game that we're playing at the moment. We can also buy ourselves a new robe or even try bribing an Olympic official for 10 gold. And so let's consult the oracle. We've got 10 at the moment and he says the gods are angry, you lose all your money. So that wasn't very fortunate in this case. And the gods are smiling, it gives us 10 gold. And the gods are annoyed, you lose 5 gold. The gods are annoyed again, you lose 5 more gold. And so we can be pleased and we can be annoyed and we can get some money out of these guys. So let's buy a tunic. Bad move, what a waste of money. So we've just bought ourselves a new fancy tunic. We've got 10 gold bits left. What do we need to buy? Well, at this stage we don't need to buy anything in this fake game because it's just a fake game, but we can buy with little bits and pieces. Let's buy ourselves a new horse. That costs us 10 gold. Bad move, what a waste of money. Okay then, it's back to the dole giver, and we're on the dole. Let's see if he'll dole out some money towards us. The gods are angry. The gods are annoyed. So in this game, what you can do is ask this guy for money, and eventually the gods will be smiling on us enough for us to enter the Olympic Games. It costs us 5 gold. And so in this case, 5 gold isn't too bad. We're a peasant, and we can't hope to get very far being a peasant in this game. This game will only work on the Amiga 500 or Amiga 600, basically anything with a Motorola 68000 CPU. If you try it on anything else, it runs too quickly. So let's try out our first event. Let's spend the 5 gold that we've just got. And it's 551 BC. We've entered the games. And this year, Dan of Za is also joined by Claudius of Capua, Phraates of Parthia, Hannibal of Campania, and of course Cefax or Syphax of Numidia. Let's plunge into our first event. Our first event is a running event, and just like the Summer Games, this tries to rip off. This thing works more like Combat School or 19 Boot Camp on a Commodore 64. Despite that parallax scrolling, the game handles like a pathetic PD game, and you can see the jumping involved requires us to jump up and down virtually within the same second. That's the end of the event, and Claudius of Capua came first with 4 points. Hannibal of Campania came second with 3 points. Phraates of Parthia came third with 2 points. Cefax of Numidia came fourth with 1 point, and Dan of Za came last with 0 points. It's on to the cliff diving. And at the end, Phraates of Parthia came first with 4 points. Epyx of Numidia came second with 3 points. Claudius of Capua came third with 2 points. Hannibal of Campania came fourth with 1 point. Dan of Zar came last with 0 points. It's on to the shooting, and now we have to shoot these clay pots in the distance. At this point it's great if you can shoot 2 together, and the opponents will be shooting like crazy. The controls are pretty jerky and jumpy at this point. If you shoot for ones farther away, it will take even longer to shoot the arrow all the way over there, and it's pretty jerky as you can see. At the end of that event, Hannibal of Campania came first with 4 points. Claudius of Capua came second with 3 points. Phraates of Parthia came third with 2 points. Epyx of Numidia came fourth with 1 point. Dan of Zar came last with 0 points. On to the javelin throwing. The total at the end of that, Phraates of Parthia came first with 4 points. Claudius of Capua came second with 3 points. Hannibal of Campania came third with 2 points. Epyx of Numidia came fourth with 1 point. Dan of Zar came last with 0 points. It's time for the high-speed swimming contest. And after that, Claudius of Capua came first with 4 points. Phraates of Parthia came second with 3 points. Hannibal of Campania came third with 2 points. Epyx of Numidia came fourth with 1 point. Dan of Zar came last with 0 points. At the end of all that, Claudius of Capua came first with 15 points. Phraates of Parthia came second with 15 points. Hannibal of Campania came third with 12 points. Epyx of Numidia has to pay 5 gold bits, and Dan of Zar came last and has to pay 15 gold bits. That's the end of the Olympic Games competition, and if we want to try any more, we'll have to go hands out to the beggar and see if he'll dole out some more cash. In the meantime, this is virtually the end of this playthrough and the end of this game, and it's got a 5.5 rating on the Lemon Amiga database. This was released by Energize, and luckily the creators of this game went on to bigger and better things. So hopefully we can get some money out of this guy. There we go. And what I'm going to do is to ride off with local town beauty on my horse, on my new toga, ride off into that sunset. And that's me playing this game. That's the end of this try on Lemon Amiga. Next up we have Gladiators, coded by D. Krumak and music by R. Campbell, released by Smash 16. This was released in 1989. Spartacus is trained as a gladiator and awaits his calling to the arena in the jail of the house of Lentulus in Capua. Crassus watches Spartacus in the arena as he fights the barbarians. You can see we are a slave and we are fighting bare-breasted, and we don't get any trousers either, so we're virtually naked, and that's one of the Roman things that they didn't like with naked fighters. They often commented on the naked fighteriness in their scriptures. And you can see we're Spartacus and we have to gouge things out of our opponent using very clunky controls, and we're here in the training camp perhaps, Lentilus. Furious at seeing their champion defeated, the crowd shouts for vengeance. In this game we have to use one of maybe 3 available moves to attack our enemy. One of those is high slice, and one of those is jab them in the balls, and of course that's my preferred method in most of these games. And you can see we can also swipe the enemy and keep swiping them and stab them as well. We can also move backwards and forwards and jump out of the way, not that that will help us much. We can also wave the shield around as well. Just like the later Doom, we'll get a graphic representation of our character with chunks taken out of our skull at the bottom of the screen, and it's unfortunate that these swords either side block the character when you wander behind them, and it makes it difficult to see whatever limited move that you're trying to pull off at the moment. And you can see by retreating I'm stabbing the enemy just where it hurts the most, and eventually it will kill the enemy. Angry at the defeat of their champion, Crassus reveals, well, he releases his eagle to dissect us with its lethal claws, and the crowd go crazy. You can see a new background now, and it's a new story, and all we have to do is to jab the eagle, but if the eagle gets its claws on us, that's an instant death, apparently, in this game. That was Gladiators, so let's move on to a new game. This is Ludicrus. This was coded by Alan Smithy and published by Actual Screenshots in 1989. You can see on the title page, if we pull right on the controller, we can play a 2-player game. If we pull left, we can play a 1-player game. And you can play it against a number of characters. There's Hairless. Hairless is a hairless bald character. We have Bondage. Bondage is a female character. And of course, Budweiser, who is a masked character. As you can see, there is a bandage as well on the title screen. In Ludicrus, we pit our feeble skills against Eric Schwartz type rip-off characters, and in this game we have, I think, 2 moves, maybe a low blow and a medium blow. I'm not quite sure, but I think those are the moves, maybe a high sweep as well. And we can also roll backwards and forwards, and when we collide with that enemy, we can push the enemy back, and when we hit that enemy, that will take a hit point. Unfortunately, there are no hit points on the screen. This is not Street Fighter 2. And you can see there is a crowd as well as a pretty bored Emperor sitting in the background. In order to beat this game, we'll have to hit the opponent half a dozen times, maybe 2 dozen times in this particular case, with no idea. And when we do that, we'll hear one sound effect. We'll have to defeat our opponent at least 5 or 6 times, I'm not quite sure, and that can get pretty boring, as you can imagine. As you can see, Ludicrus is a bit of a rip-off, and we don't know who coded this, and we don't know who created this or anything, but we do know that this was released into the scene in 1989, and it's just as well that this is an early release, because if this escaped after 1990, it would have been loaded, but luckily not that many people got to hear about it, and so it's basically disappeared quietly under the radar. You can see some skills are involved, and that skill is basically the attention level that you have to maintain to even get through it. And having done that, we can simply lay into that enemy pretty easily, let that enemy take all the hits in the world, and then we'll hopefully move on to the second character in this game. Unfortunately, I have to defeat the opponent straight, so you have to defeat her 6 times straight before it will move on to the next opponent, which is virtually identical, only the opponent puts up some kind of defense against our attacks. That's pretty ridiculous, but that's the way it goes in this game. Here we are against Hairless. Here's our major opponent. We've got through Bondage, and now it's Hairless, and he's making absolute mincemeat of us, and it won't be long before he demolishes our feeble skills and our pathetic chances of playing this game. Each of the characters in this game is tremendous, but unfortunately the playing side of things is non-existent, and if you're hoping for IK+, this is certainly not it. So now we have an insult to lions everywhere. This is us versus a lion, and the lion also similarly has to kill us a lot of times in order for us to not rise from the grave. And maybe this was during the time when Christians were fed to the lions, before Italy, of course, turned towards Christianity and said, hold on a minute, even though we killed Jesus Christ, now Christianity is the only faith for us. So this was during the arena period, when entertainment was basically men versus wild animals. And you can see, in this case, the wild animal is putting up a teddy bear's reflection of an attack, and I cave in like a cave. So you can see that this game is not very playable, and it's probably the least playable game that I've probably ever played on the Lemon Play Guides, and Hard Lady Magazine's reviewed it, and I couldn't see any scores for it either. It got maybe a 2% rating on the Lemon Amiga database, and I don't really blame it, and that's only because there weren't enough reviews after that to lower it down any further. Tournament over! So thank you for watching another Lemon Amiga Play Guide series, and maybe I'll see you again sometime in the future. Thank you.